This meeting is being recorded.
Actually, thought that was a pretty good presentation. Okay, I will share my screen. Thanks everyone for having us here today. I'm Kevin Lalone, Director of Public Works. As well, we have Wendy Hudgens, who is with New World Park Solutions, who's afforded the opportunity to create our new park over at Mills Park at Town Hall. So I do have a quick presentation deck that I'll go through, and between myself and Wendy, we'll expand on some of the concepts that we've come up with and next steps in terms of installation and commissioning and all that good stuff. And we wanted to share that with you as well. So I will attempt to share my screen, and hopefully everyone can see that. Can everyone see that?
Yes,
or are you still looking at me? No, you're good. Okay. So what's first off, again, thanks for letting us present this exciting project to you all. The replacement of this park at Town Hall was actually prioritized as part of the Parks and Trails Master Plan, which was recently updated in 2020. And as part of that master plan, we also looked at a long-term replacement strategy for all of our parks, as they are certainly dated and nearing the end of their useful life. And this particular park is probably between 15 and some elements are 20 years old. So it's at that stage where we need to kind of reinvigorate it and update those dated elements. As you know, this park, can you even see this here? Can you see my mouse as well? Maybe? Okay, good. Sorry, I don't do too many presentations this way, so appreciate the opportunity. Mills Park, that's the one at Town Hall, right beside the tennis courts in the parking lot there. And that's off of Glenwood Drive, and you can get to it also from Lewis Street and River Avenue Crescent. There's a number of play elements within this park. You know, we have triple slides, we've got a rock climbing wall, we've got bay swings, play structure, accessible play structure with platform, some spring toys. We also have a number of exercise equipment that was recently removed that we plan on replacing as part of the program here. Now, when it comes to park and playground design, certainly accessible features are a top priority for us. And we rely on AODA, the Integrated Accessibility Standards, particularly when it comes to accessibility and design. And what we're speaking to today in terms of accessibility and design, when constructing new or redeveloping existing play spaces, we have an obligation to incorporate accessible features such as sensory and active play components for children and caregivers with various disabilities into the design of outdoor play spaces. And we need to ensure that outdoor play spaces have a ground surface that's firm, stable, and has impact attenuating properties for injury prevention. And these kind of control a lot of the design elements that we've incorporated into our park design. So what the town did back in, it must have been late January, we issued a call for proposals to qualified park designers and installers. And we looked to have them create a new park for us. A lot of text here, I'll quickly read it. Part of the minimum requirements we wanted to see in these proposals, and we did receive 7 proposals from the call for proposals, but part of it we wanted to kind of guide the design in such a way that we have a number of features that we want to see at this park. We'd ask for them to consider an accessible play tower for children between 2 and 12. We wanted the play tower to have accessible ramps. We wanted sufficient space to maneuver a wheelchair, including turnaround space. We were looking for shade elements incorporated into the structure. We wanted features that encouraged a high level of inclusive play that focused on physical accessibility, age, developmental appropriateness, and sensory-rich stimulating activities. We wanted the structure to also include at minimum 1 double slide. We looked for the designers to have a separate play structure for smaller children that also included social, sensory, and inclusive features. We were looking for the designers to come up with a concept that had an accessible wheelchair merry-go-round type feature. We wanted a net climbing tower that was suitable for climbing balance coordination. We wanted several swings, 4 swings in terms of what we've recommended as a minimum: bucket swings, regular belts, and multi-person swings. We also wanted to see a rocking motion seesaw play element. we were looking to replace the fitness playground equipment. And if budget permitted and the design permitted, we also wanted a track ride or a zip line type apparatus incorporated within the design. So we undertook this RFP, and there is an evaluation process that we undergo once we received all the proposals. We received, I believe it was 7 proposals, and we evaluate the technical content of these proposals as well as the financial criteria that we've established for the budget. And through the evaluation, the New World Park Solutions Incorporated concept and vision for our park renewal was the successful candidate. And we look forward to working with New World Park. And at this time, I'd like to pass over to Wendy. We do have Wendy here today. And sorry, Wendy is the, I'll say, territory manager, right, Wendy, for New World Park Solutions. And she was heavily involved with certainly the proposal submission, the design creativity. And I've asked her to just kind of walk through the detailed design and some of the concepts from the accessibility components to some of the play elements that we've introduced into the park. So with that, Wendy, if you don't mind first starting with the accessibility features, and then we'll get into the some of the conceptual renderings.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thanks for having me. So yeah, I'm very excited about this project too. It's a great project. So I thought I'd start with this this slide. And so it shows the table, and although it says ADA schedule, it is actually based on our Annex H, our CSA requirements that are needed. So basically what these tables do is they dictate for however many structures or decks you have to have so many, a minimum amount of accessible features. And so this is dedicated to our structure that we've designed. And so, for example, if I had just a one structure, you would have less accessible features than if you had, say, a 3-deck structure. That's the concept behind this table. So as you can see, we have provided 16 elevated play elements and 18 ground level play elements. Based on those numbers, there's a required amount of accessible features we need to have, and then what we have provided. So you can see we've doubled or tripled what the minimum requirements are under the CSA Annex H table. So I just thought I'd kind of go over that quickly just to kind of give you a basis of where we're at. So if we can go to the next screen, then I can start talking about all the highlights of our park. So this one is just like an overview of the park. We decided to go with more of a natural look. The colors are, pretty neutral, and you can see all the different features. We have a separate area for the swings. The whole structure is ramped, so we've ramped it right up to 4 feet. So it's accessible all the way up to 4 feet there. Yeah, that's right. And our ramps are about 4 feet wide, and each deck is about 8 feet across the middle. So there's plenty of room, and for turning around, mobility, all of those features. The other thing to point out on this screen, so on the left-hand side, where the color is a bit different, this is a poured-in-place rubber surfacing. So in the proposal, we were asked to do some rubber surfacing around that merry-go-round kind of idea. And what we decided to do was extend that to make that a lot bigger. So we've got about 1,700 square feet right there of rubber surfacing. And I think, let's just see, so perfect. This features more about that rubber surface thing. So I guess the first thing we'll talk about is that little tree there in the forefront. This is what we call our silly tree. the accessible features are where the little girl is standing in the purple, a wheelchair can actually go through that. It's wheelchair accessible. They can go through, and it has like a slight ramp to get in and to get out. And it's just a fun feature. Inside there's a lot of play elements and sensory elements to do. They also, on the right-hand side, they have this belt, and that can be used for sitting on or just, hanging out, balancing, all of those kinds of things. From there, you can see our merry-go-round. We call it an accessible whirl. That's ours. So this can actually accommodate 2 wheelchairs inside, along with, lots of people. And, there's also a little bench there. So if anybody does need some extra support, they can sit down and still have a ride. Caregivers, everybody can be included in that piece. We have the little girl in the yellow over there. She's playing on some chimes, and these chimes, they're accessible in the way they're shaped. So they're shaped in a concave way that it's easily accessible. They are 8 like aluminum chimes, and they're actually tuned to a proper music scale, which is really cool. So you can actually play some real music on that. We have on the left-hand side a little panel wall over there. The only thing I would say that in the picture doesn't show very well is when we install this, I think we're going to move it closer to the port in place so that it's more accessible on the one side with the port in place, and the other side would be the engineered wood fiber. But there's 3 different panels on that one, very interactive, especially that little the one where that girl in the purple there is standing. It's, you can access it from both sides. It's great. Like I said before, it's all ramped all the way up. On each sorry, let me just see where I'm at here. No, sorry, can you just go back for 2 seconds, Kevin? Sorry about that. Right. The other thing I wanted to point out is we do have a transfer station in this section too. So if somebody from a chair or mobility device would like to transfer and go up the stairs, they're able to do that with their transfer station. And then the last feature on this slide that I'd like to point out is the slide. Is the slide itself. That's funny. So the way it's shaped at the bottom, we call this a slide aside. So what it does, it allows the users just a little bit of extra time if they need to get off the slide. So they can go down the slide, scooch over, and either wait for their mobility device to come, a caregiver can bring it, or sometimes maybe they just want to sit and watch the other kids go down, but they're not blocking the slide and feeling, anxious that they've had to block the slide and wait for somebody, so they can move over. So I think it's a really thoughtful, great feature of this slide. It also has some rollers in it for more sensory activities. So I think that's it for that slide. We can go on to the next one. Sorry, I'm all mixed up here. So in this slide, we basically are featuring the 4-person seesaw. This one in particular is great. It has backs on it, so it adds some extra support. It also has this platform in the middle, and the platform is at transfer height. And so it can allow somebody to either come and sit in the middle, they could lie down and be supported and still be part of the action, right? They wouldn't get as much of the seesaw, but they can still be in the middle getting movement stimulation that way. It also has our hoopla swing, which is our multi-person, we call it a hoopla swing. So it's multi-person, I believe 6 users on that, but it also, the shape of the seat itself can accommodate and support somebody lying down, sitting, all of those things. So I think those were the main features on that slide. So we go to the next. Yeah, perfect.
There you go.
And so here we have our branch out, which is this big tree structure. I'll talk more about that on, I think, on the next slide. The things here, oh, one thing on the branch out that I would like to point out is if you can see on the bottom, there's a little opening under there. So yeah, right in there. So you can't climb up the inside of it, but you can, there is a little nook in there that you can climb in. And what that is really good for is a little cozy space for people, you know, for kids who are getting maybe overwhelmed and need a little quiet space. A lot of the spectrum kids really appreciate that kind of cozy getaway space. So that's a really neat feature on that branch out. We also on this slide, you can see our spin cup. So it's the green cup there. Also at transfer height, also very supportive. A child could go in and the bowl shape of it can support them. So I think that's it for that one. So here we're featuring the swings. So we have given 2.5 bays. So we have the accessible seat, taut seat, the 2 belt seats, and then this one at the end, we call it a swing along. So on the one side, the child can sit in with support, and then an adult or caregiver or sibling or whoever friend can sit on the other side and you can swing together. It's a nice inclusive piece there too. So then we can move on. Perfect. And so this last slide, some of the features that I hadn't pointed out before with the branch out. So the branch out is made of a lot of net climbing apparatuses, but the one that you see here closest, it's called a cargo net. And so with this branch out, wheelchairs or mobility devices can fit, can get under there and kind of be under the action, but those cargo nets are really great because they can grab onto it and have some upper body strengthening exercise. If they're able, they can pull themselves up out of their chair, maybe use it as a guide to help move. So it's really neat. They have these where the little girl in the purple is sitting. These are hammocks, and so they can also support a body lying down, sitting down. If they have somebody there to help them, you could get like some stimulation on there. There's also these belts where the one in the blue is going. Yeah, that's right. So again, at transfer height, somebody can go in, sit on the belts, still be, climb, crawl, still be part of it all. Underneath this 4-foot structure, it's kind of hard to see. There is what we call an anywhere seat. It's the little brown circle underneath that, the last deck on the right hand side. But it provides like another cozy place to get away, if they're getting overstimulated. We have some more ground features. There's a drum there, a post mount drum, along with some, spring toys, climbers. This little bunny climber on there, it's actually quite large. It's a really cute climber that's going to help. Either you can just climb on it or it will help you get onto the structure. There's the zip lines there. This thing on the very right hand side is called a sidewalk, and it has some movement in it, so it's great for balancing. All the rope features. I think that's it. I went through that pretty fast. I know along the way, I don't think I mentioned, along all the ramped way, there's different panels all the way up. So at every 1 foot, 2 foot deck, 3 foot deck, and 4 foot deck. Yeah, we have bell panels, maze panels, spin driver panel. There's lots of different activities to do all the way up. So I think that's what I have, unless we
Great.
have some more questions.
Well,
Yeah, no,
thank you very much.
That was great. What,
Sorry.
if I may, Mr. Chair, Fred, if I just have one more slide and then we'll get to questions if that works for you, sir.
Yeah, no problem. Go right
Okay.
ahead.
So then in terms of next slide, we do have, from a scheduling standpoint, we're still working with Wendy and her team to finalize the design so we can get that purchase order issued, which is critical to get in queue so we get the equipment within maybe 8 to 10, maybe 12 weeks. I'm not sure what the delivery time is.
We're getting up to 12 now.
Yeah. So at this point, that's our focus, to get the design elements finalized, colors finalized, and then manufacturing process 8 to 10 to 12 weeks maybe. We're hoping to have delivery this coming summer, installation to happen thereafter with full commissioning, hopefully by the end of summer, early fall, and we can transition into that new playground. So as Wendy said, this will be our first park with port-in-place rubber surfacing. We also have an engineered wood fiber top that will complement that, which is also compliant with standards for playground surface accessibility and high impact attention, and certainly most cost-effective option for the balance of the playground surface. But we are excited to start this process. Like I said, there's 13 parks in town, and a lot of them are outdated and need to be freshened up. They need to be built and expanded upon from their accessibility standpoint. And we have a lot of budget preparations to set aside to implement those. And I know council's committed as well to upgrade these elements and renewal of our park spaces in the future. So we look forward to any questions you may have. And
I just got one there, Kevin. Well, it's not actually a question, it's a comment. Playground is phenomenal. And is it going to be featured, like, we feature Wasaga Beach as a destination? And I think somehow the town should be advertising as a destination as well, because there's not a lot of playgrounds that kids with disabilities can actually access. And I just think this would be something that we should be bragging about, that we have this. And if you come to Wasaga Beach with a child that's got a disability, please come check this out as well. This is a destination for you to see as well, and take pictures and share with other people around the province. That's just my only comment, Kevin.
No, that's a great comment, Mr. Chair. And certainly there's always communication opportunities for us to explore and build upon when we do commission these new parks. And I think certainly a photo opportunity and recognition from the advisory committee is something that we could certainly also complement that. But I think you're right. I think it's going to be a feature for certainly our park inventory today, and it'll be the benchmark for our future upgrades, and we can build on this as we update the other dozen or so parks over the coming years.
Well, the last comment I just want to make, and I'll turn it over to the committee. When we put the Moby mats down, I got tons of comments from all different communities on how good the Moby mats are. And I see this going in the same direction, where towns are going to copy ours to make their playgrounds as accessible as ours. I think we're in the forefront of this, and I am so proud of our town and our mayor and our council to take this project on. So anyways, anybody else got a comment?
I do.
Yeah,
Kevin,
I can't see who it is, but I still got the playground up here.
I'll stop the share so we can, there, how was that?
Oh, there, okay.
Okay, I've got a couple questions. First of all, I'm very impressed with what we saw, but there's two things there I just wonder about. Number one, I noticed there's no seating facilities for the parents or the caregivers while the kids are playing. Is that something that maybe can be taken into consideration?
Yeah, certainly that wasn't part of this as part of New World's responsibilities. That's there are some benches there now, Vic, and we're looking at complementing those, but we're also looking at possibly lining the perimeter, at least one or two sides of the playground space with kind of a half wall that is 3 feet high or so, 2.5 to 3 feet high, where parents and individuals can sit and watch their kids or support the children. So that is part of the town's responsibilities outside of this scope, but it's definitely something that's that's under our scope as well for this year.
Okay, and the second thing, what about washroom facilities for these kids? Is there anything like, will they be able to go into the building, like into the town hall somewhere?
Yep.
How's that gonna work?
Yeah, it'll continue to function how it is today in terms of there are public washrooms available at town hall. And I would have to confirm whether or not sometimes there's a porta potty outside the tennis courts there as well. But certainly the preference would be to rely on the public washrooms that are available to the folks there at town hall.
Okay, thank you. Good job, guys. I'm really, really impressed.
Thank you.
Go
Any
ahead,
other
Al. I
comments
think you had a
or
question.
questions?
You're just on mute, Al.
Thank you. The space that is used presently for the Mills Park, is it going to be the same amount of space, or is this going to encompass a larger area, Kevin?
It's pretty much the same footprint, Al. It's slightly larger. We'll probably soften the lines a little bit, but it's relatively the same footprint as you see today in terms of the sandy areas for the swings, as also the wood chips for the playground. So we've tried to position this structure within the existing footprint, so we didn't have to creep into the green space. Mind you, there may be some of the trees need attention in terms of removals or some trimming, but the intent isn't to kind of creep into the green space that is currently available there.
And my concern is, and it may just be the conceptual drawings, but it looked like some of the areas around that tree formation and the climbing nets and so on looked a little congested. There is going to be lots of room there for wheelchairs, mobility devices, and children playing, that they're not going to be bumping into one another. I'm sure Wendy can.
Sure, I don't mind answering that. Yeah, absolutely. The net climbers they come off of that main branch, right, of the branch out, but everything has to have a minimum zone around it. So, and it's 6 feet. So there's a minimum 6 foot safety zone around every piece of equipment that's there. So yeah, there's plenty of room.
Good. And this may not be, but to Kevin, a lot of the materials, the climbing apparatuses and such that are in Mills Park right now, can they be utilized in some of our other parks? Because as you mentioned, a lot of our parks need to be upgraded. I know they're not going to be accessible necessarily, but can we relocate some of the equipment that is there?
Potentially, like the spring toys, maybe some of the isolated standalone elements, Al, but in terms of some of the panels, we are going to look to see if we can salvage some, because we know we're missing some panels on other parks.
Right.
The problem is they're not all the same manufacturer and they're not kind of universally integrated. So what we can salvage, we will, but at this point, we haven't kind of highlighted which elements will go to other parks. So for the most part, it's going to be surplused and disposed of. But if there is a standalone spring toy or something that we can build upon at another park, we're looking at that, but it's not the majority of the elements, certainly.
Okay, thank you. I'll just echo the comments of some of the other committee members. I think it's a wonderful cutting edge project, and congratulations.
Thanks, Al. I think John had some questions too, and then we'll go back to Vic.
Yeah, just a quick, I'll echo what everyone else said as well. It's like a wonderful, very advanced design, so that's fantastic. Just to clarify again, is there 2 different poured rubber areas, or is it one rubber area, but one area has something different on the top of it? Could you describe what's under the main playground area?
Just share if I may. So can everyone see the screen here? So it's difficult to tell with the distinction in the color between the two, but the rubber surfacing actually encompasses kind of a quarter of the playground. So this rubber surface is through here. This is the engineered wood fiber everywhere else. I don't think there's, so it's, you can see the different textures, but this will all be engineered, poured in place rubber surfacing. And then the rest.
You're all over the place, Kevin. I see two different colors there. Is that?
Yeah. So this is the rubber and this is the wood fiber. It's hard to tell on the color scheme, but let me see. Maybe this one might be a little different. See the tighter knitted pattern here? This is the rubber surfacing. I'm not
seeing your cursor. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the rubber surfacing, and then this is the wood chips.
But the wood chips are wood chips, or there's a rubber.
No, it's actually fiber top, which is an engineered wood fiber. So it's designed to kind of say tighten up and provide a firm and stable surface, and also provide still the impact. We'll say attention or attenuation. So if someone were to fall from one of the play elements, there still needs to be enough of a spring to that surface. And there's standards that we follow and testing that we follow before we commission a park to ensure that it meets these different drop tests.
Okay, but it's firm enough that the wheelchair can roll around in there.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead, Vic.
What I was going to say, since this thing is so really good and really like it involves people, kids with disabilities and everything else, could this not be incorporated into maybe somewhere on Beach One when they do because this way you get all the people from outside Wasaga Beach coming to the beach and having someplace for the kids to go.
Yeah, well, at this point, Beach One, there's going to be obviously Festival Square, which will have different landscaping and features and play elements incorporated. It could be anything from a pond to an ice surface in the wintertime. Those details haven't been established yet. There is parkland requirements by the developer, should there be a successful partnership there. But at this point, there isn't, we haven't advanced any park per se designs for Beach One, but it's when we do get rid of the splash pad, because we know that's going to have to go. We are also looking at different splash pad locations to reinstate that splash pad. Not suggesting it will happen at Beach Area 1 or 2, but that's one of the locations we're looking at to see where best to suit that. But we haven't got into the park design per se just yet, Vic, with Beach Area 1 or 2.
Yeah, that would be, I think that would get a lot of usage from,
Yeah,
people coming from, it wouldn't be just the beach. In other words, especially if you had young kids or kids with disabilities, I think that would get a lot of activity. Something to consider. It would, it's so good. I think it's excellent what you guys presented, but I think something like that, if you could take something like you got the one here at the town hall, this one down somewhere down there that fills the area, I think you get all kinds of activity. Just something to consider. I'm not, I know it's being thrown in, but when you guys are talking about these different things, that'd be something I think that would be really, really good for the kids down there.
Okay, Councillor Kinney. Yes, Mark.
Thanks, Fred. Thanks, Wendy. And thanks, Kevin. I know Kevin's on a tight timeline, so I'll make my questions really quick. You said possibly 12 weeks now, Wendy. And we're looking at summer and then opening in the fall. So my thought process is once it lands in Wasaga Beach, what's the turnaround from taking down the old, putting up the new? Do we have any concept on that, Kevin?
Yeah, we're going to likely need a couple of weeks ahead of time before Wendy's team starts to mobilize, because we will be actually pulling out the old wood chips. We're going to be better defining the boundary and getting that canvas, so to speak, prepared for Wendy's team to come in and do the installs, do the rubber surfacing, and then we will follow up again with our forces to reinstate with the engineered wood fiber beyond the rubber surface. We also want to, we're looking to salvage some of the sorry, the wall that down on the beachfront right now. So that toe wall that's along the where the sand is on Beach Drive, we're looking to reuse that wall, and that will form the perimeter and the seating area along some of the edge. So we have a bit of work to do, and there's still some kind of timing and logistical coordination that has to happen between Wendy's team and ours, but we're hoping to be in there for at least a couple of weeks, because we're also taking out the old structures just to try and keep the costs down and leverage the resources we have available to us. So we're trying to do what we can in-house, but we'll be on site at least 2 weeks prior to when the materials show up and the installers show up.
Thanks, Kevin. Thanks, Wendy. Excellent presentation.
There's,
Love the design, and thanks, Fred.
okay, if there's no other questions, I'd like to thank Kevin and Wendy's your name? I'm sorry, I forgot. Wendy, for the lovely the fantastic presentation you guys did. And can't wait to see this as a finished product. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the
having me.
opportunity,
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.
Bye for now.
Have a good Easter.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, you
Happy
as well.
Easter.
Thanks, Wendy.
Okay, let's go to 5.1. The town hall elevator, that's still an ongoing issue, so we'll just leave it at that. 5.2, the Wasaga Beach Seniors Information Activity Living Expo 2022.
Yep.
And it's Laura.
That's me. So this is just confirmation. We do have a booth for the Seniors Expo on June 22nd. They've given us like a corner area with a little bit more space so that we can bring in the chairs and have some more space for our members as well. And for our setup accessibility banner, let's call it banner. So that's all ready to go. I'm going to go and I'm going to make sure everything's set up. All I need is for, you can either do like 2 people for 2 hours, 2 people for the last 2 hours, or if 2 people want to stay from 9:30 till 2. I just need some volunteers and whoever's interested to man.
Laura, I'll go from 9:30 to 2 with Michelle.
Okay, so Fred and Michelle, did anybody else want to join that day, or are they good?
More
with
the merrier.
Fred and Michelle?
What was the day again, Laura?
It's June 22nd, which is, I think it's a Wednesday. Yes, it's a Wednesday.
Oh, during the day? Obviously.
You're what, sorry?
During the day, obviously.
Yes, yeah, during the day, yeah, 9:30 till 2. Or sorry, it's 10 to 2. I just said 9:30 so that you guys could show up and I could transfer over what you've got to do for the day.
I'll make time to be there
Sure.
part of the time.
Yep.
I'll check my calendar, but I certainly will appear, yes.
Okay, so what I can do is I can say, we for sure have Fred and Michelle there the whole day, and I'll have in a third chair for anybody who wants to drop in and sit for a little bit.
Okay.
Vic?
Laura,
Yeah?
I was going to say, I got a bit of a problem here because I'm on the age-friendly seniors committee.
Oh,
And
okay.
So I'm torn between two lovers here, so I don't know which way.
So you're there already then, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be
No
there
problem.
already.
You can jump back and forth, or you can stay with that committee, because right off the hop, we've got Al willing to pop in, and then Fred and Michelle will be there the whole day.
Okay.
Awesome. So Fred, so when I get the table set up, I'll have some swag stuff from us, and then I'm bringing in the Moby chairs and our accessibility banner. So you've got some stuff there you can talk to people about, just kind of promote the committee, promote accessibility in the town. And does anybody have any questions outside of that?
So that's 9:30 to 2, and it's at the Recplex, right?
Yes. So the other thing I wanted to mention was because we are a not-for-profit organization, our sign-up fee is waived. But what I was just verifying with committee, what I was thinking we could do was donate the $50 anyway, since we have it in the budget for them to put towards their door prizes for everybody that's attending. That way we're still contributing somehow. We're giving back.
Sounds good to me.
Everybody's
How's
okay
the
with
committee
that?
feel?
Awesome. Okay. Mark, great. And then before we jumped further, only because I forgot to, we actually do have a motion to receive that presentation for the playground, Fred. I was just, sorry, yeah. If we just jump back a bit, it's just to receive it for information. That way we know coming forward that committee's reviewed it. they've listened to the presentation. There was, they've taken some advice and comments from us, and I will talk to Kevin about when that launches, and we can get some of them, maybe the members can come on the ribbon cutting day to attend. I think that'd be nice.
Okay.
So Vic, Vic.
Laura, I was gonna ask, are we gonna be giving out any handouts like bags or?
I don't have any bags, but I'm gonna get something accessibility, kind of like, remember we did the sunglasses one year. I'll get something with our logo on it, and then I'll make sure that's at the table to give out. Yeah, we'll have something to pass along for sure. But can I get Al?
I'll move that.
Oh, you'll move it?
Accept the report from Kevin and Wendy.
Okay, awesome. And Mark, you'll second that there? Or did you
All in
want to talk?
favor?
All those in favor? Everybody's good. Awesome. So that was Al and Mark.
Okay, Jens has joined in.
Oh, she's been here. She's just had her camera and sound off. She was just doing some
okay.
stuff there.
All right.
Okay, so that's the update. The Seniors Expo, we've got it covered. I'll let them know that Fred and Michelle will be there with some drop-ins, and then you can carry on the agenda there, Fred.
Okay, 6.1, this is for Councillor Kinney, Accessibility Accreditation Initiative Committee Update. Councillor Kinney, you're up.
Thank you, Fred. I'll jump in, Kevin would if he was here. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, Laura, we sent along a small business, large business list that the committee provided. And my thought process was if people could make a decision on where they wanted the update, I'm sorry, not the update, where they wanted the soft launch to be, then we could, as a committee, put together a letter and approach that business.
Yes, you had asked for everyone to submit that to you, right?
Yeah, and I believe, and I could be wrong, Laura, I thought it might be on the agenda today because I put it in a table form and sent it in.
Did you send that to me?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oops.
But that's no big deal.
Okay.
Because we've got the list. And we looked at
Are you able to share your
Everyone-
screen maybe and show it to us, perhaps?
share a screen. I don't have it on a screen.
Oh, okay.
That would be too technical stuff. We could defer it to next month.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, don't be sorry, Laura. And I can resend it to you. And
Yeah.
then we could send it to people
One,
and
two,
then
three.
we could just pick a location.
Yeah,
So,
our next
Jennifer?
meeting would be in 3 weeks anyways, because we did this one a little bit later. But
Yeah.
Vic, did you want to jump in there?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I thought, Councillor Kinney, I thought we talked about, you mentioned an employer or a firm or something that you thought would be a good fit, but I can't remember who it was. Does anybody else remember that?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So if I can go back to memory, and it's not the greatest, I believed we had, well, I put in Grandma's Beach Street as one for a small. I know that there was other ones that were put on for large. I know we got things like Canadian Tire, Walmart, Superstore, Home Hardware, and I want to say Castle.
Yes.
But I'd much rather have the list sent to everybody and then they could see just not off of memory. That way, I'm pretty sure I've got everybody's that they sent in, and I thank you all. Because you, Vic, also sent in the gas station on 45th Street.
Yeah, that's just.
So that's in there too. Sorry,
Jewel.
Al, go ahead.
The jewel box was the other one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and John sent in, I believe,
It was home hardware.
yes, thank you. But they're all in that list. So I can resend it to Laura. We
Yeah,
can
please do.
transmit it
Yeah, sorry.
around. We can pick a place and we can get that letter going. Does that sound good?
We start off with one place first and
Yes.
see how that goes. We're not going to send it 3 or 4 different
No, just
Or
one.
business, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, Mark,
yeah.
if you want to send that to me today, I'll make sure I put it right in today for the next agenda.
Oh, that sounds great. Yeah, and the thought I think we were looking at was one, and I believe the committee was looking at different size businesses. That's why I put in a section for small and then large. We don't have to do two, we can just do one.
Mhm.
It's just that there's benefits for small, pros and cons for large. Sometimes a small business, it's one owner. Big business, they got to go to head management to do things. So just those thoughts. So I will send that to Laura today.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else on that? All right, then we're on the new business. Mark, you're up again. The Residential Accessibility Improvement Program.
Yes, we chatted about that, and I talked to Doug Heron yesterday, and I'm going to be sending Doug Heron and Danny Rogers, our building chief, a copy of the policy so that I can get those eyes on it. And because they're familiar with the Wasaga improvement plan, which is basically where this is being born from. And so once I get those, we can bring it back to committee, but I'd also like to send it to our solicitor so that they have a look at it and say, okay, well, you know, good idea, but you really can't do it because you're going to get sued. Those type of things, make sure we're covered. And then I know that George Van Coors already put money aside in the budget for it. So not a whole bunch, but a little bit, because we're going to start it off. And then once we get it through the committee and everybody else that is looking at it, and I can't say why we can't do that by June, then we can roll it out and get Mike to push it. And if we do get it by June, maybe we can run it as an additional thing in the when we do the senior expo.
I
And
was
Vic, I
just
think
thinking
you got
the
it.
same thing.
Vic, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna
Sorry,
say,
Mark, I was just thinking the same thing, Mark, for the seniors program. Anyway, sorry, Vic, go on, I interrupted you.
okay, I don't know if you guys seen this, but the Ontario government has put out there for people with disabilities to improve house, like to put something in their house. And what you need to do is you need 2 estimates, fill out an application, and you got to do it before June the 30th. They will pay for it. And I think they'll pay for 100%. If they want 2 estimates, like 2 different contractors, whatever you call them, to do it, which I don't know if it's going to affect what we're talking about, but not, we're talking more about employers or firms, but this is specifically like the homeowners with people with disabilities.
Yeah,
think-
no,
I think-
that's great information, Vic. And I know I'm trying within the actual policy to list, because John was good enough to send a whole bunch of stuff to us on other resources that are out there. Because I really like to have it so that an individual would pull down the document, go, okay, yeah, that might be good, that we don't fit in there, but oh, they've got other resources. Well, maybe some of the other resources I can tie into. So it's just not a individual plan or policy. It has the ability to expand beyond that. That's what I'm trying to tie into. What you had mentioned is fantastic. I hadn't heard about it. So that's great to push out there. If it's something that the provincial government would be doing on an ongoing basis, then that definitely would be tied into it. I like to think that, like a lot of our documents, they're living, they just take a time to update. So I don't want to really tie it down to something that is just something that, because it's an election year, they're kicking it out. Not that it is, but it is. And have it more wholesome. But I know I'd like to, and I can't remember if I've done it or not, but I know generally policies are revisited every 5 years. This might want to be revisited, or since it's really germinated from the committee, I think the committee would have the ability to go in and say, hey, we want to update this, we want to update it now. So we'll work that, verbiage into it so that it's more flexible. And I hope that answers everybody's question. And Fred, that's
I
where
think,
we're at.
Mark, I know Vic's talking, but we've been looking into it. I think there's a $2,000 cap on the provincial one, because we're looking at doing a couple things in the house here for me. And from what we're understanding from these various disability places that do the installs, there's a $2,000 cap. But I could be wrong as well. I could be looking at something totally different. So anyways, Mr. Kinney, don't go away angry. You again, ACC.
John's got a question.
I'm sorry, John.
It's okay.
Everybody's frozen on my screen. That's why I don't see anything.
I'm not on your screen. I didn't make your.
You're on my screen, but you're frozen.
Oh.
Anyways, come on, John. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, because the government programs come and go so often, because the funding comes and goes so often, sometimes the funding is limited and everything else. But I think I proposed in Councillor Kinney's policy that we put something in there to the effect that the person applying has to try and avail themselves of other provincial programs or federal programs first. And if they're unsuccessful there, or there's not enough money there, then they can avail our program after that. So.
That's a good idea, John. I actually like that idea.
Yeah.
What do you think, Councillor Kinney?
And also, if that's the case, should we not also include that in our program to say we need 2 estimates rather than just saying, it's going to cost me X number of dollars to do it? This way we know you're getting something that's competitive.
Yeah, I think that was in there already, but yeah.
Is it in there? Okay, maybe I missed it. Okay.
Anyways, Mark, what do you think of John's, what John just said?
Fred, I'm currently writing it down. So I want to get in the policy. Yeah, I don't see it being a difficulty to do that, guys. It's just a matter of sitting down and trying to figure out where it might fit in the overall within the 14 pages, 16 pages, whatever the document is now. And
okay, is there any more questions on that issue, or can we move on? All right, so Councillor Kinney.
Yeah, Fred?
The contest, the ACC contest.
Yeah, okay. So I want to thank everybody for sending questions in. I was bad though, because I asked you for questions, but I should have asked you for questions and answers. So we're struggling with what you did, yes.
No,
and
you did. You asked to include the link and the answers last time.
Yeah, I did. Anyway, long story short, we could do with more questions if people can do it, and answers, and if you can link it. So if it's something that relates to the town and it's a question and then the answer is found within the town, then you can link the town advisory page or wherever you might have found it to that, so that the actual radio station has some meat and potatoes to run with. Further to that, I met with Mike Jennings and Laura briefly earlier this week, and we've set up a date to talk to Max FM this coming Tuesday. I think it's Tuesday.
Yes, Tuesday.
Yeah, it's coming Tuesday at noon to iron out some of the questions, some of the information that's going to be shared within the contest. Format still the same as we discussed, that weekly winners get a $50 gift certificate to a business in town. And after the 6th week, the overall winner gets a $200 gift certificate to town. And the nice thing about it is Max FM is going out and they're doing all that stuff for us. We don't have to get them. So they're going to supply those. We just have to supply the questions, and there's an opportunity for committee members to actually do a short 15-second introduction on a topic within the accessibility world. If somebody's interested in doing that, it's something that, as I said to Mike, most committee members don't sign up to go on radio. So if you're uncomfortable doing it, don't do it. We can figure something out. But if you're inclined to saying, you know what, that'd be kind of fun, then we can make that arrangement and help it out. I know they're looking for 6, but I think when we talk to the FM, Max FM representative, that number might change down, or they may repeat some stuff.
Yeah.
As I said to Mike, teachers, and Jen would know this, if you say something 3 or 4 times and people remember, if you say it once, they generally don't. So if we redo a question 3 or 4 times, or we redo a message 3 or 4 times, it'll start clicking into the people's minds that are listening to the radio. So that's going forward. And if we can get more questions and individuals that would like to do the on-air stuff, it would be nice to get that going. I know Max FM wants to get it going sooner than later, so it could be start by May 1st.
Mark, I got a question I want to ask you. And I listen to satellites, I listen to radio. When Cal was mayor, he used to do a radio thing every Monday.
Yep.
Does our mayor do the same thing still, or?
Yes.
I think so.
I don't think it's every
Well,
Monday. It's a certain day and a certain time, but it's always the same certain day and time. And she provides a community update.
Well, wouldn't it be good for her to kind of promote it and push it a bit if she's on the radio already?
We felt that it would be nice to come from the committee, the ones who are doing, you know, the more of the accessible background work, that we were making these recommendations to council. And like Mark said, if you're not comfortable, I don't mind saying some stuff if you to cover it. But I get what you mean. You know, Nina is the voice as the mayor, but it's nice to hear those other voices that make up the town too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
but is
I
there
think
some way that maybe, sorry, Mark, is there some way maybe like hypothetically, if you said something, but could we still not get the mayor to kind of promote it a bit too? I think it's a big project, and I think it'd be kind of wrong to leave the mayor out of it.
No. I totally agree where you're coming from, and I understand what Laura's saying.
Mhm.
I think what we want her worship to do is possibly when she's chatting weekly or bi-weekly, that she
Yeah.
just mentions, hey,
Yep.
the town's accessibility committee is running a contest with the radio station, and I'll have a little banter, and she goes, yeah, just listen for the ads, something like
Well, this has been my last statement, then I'll turn over to committee. Would the committee have any issue with either Mark or Laura kind of promoting it on the radio? Like, I really don't, I don't want to do it, but if somebody else does, but I think if we get Mark or Laura to promote it, it'd be on behalf of our committee. I think it'd be, and I go more towards Mark, he's the one that's been running it. So
Mhm. I
anyway,
think
that's
that-
my final thought.
I just think if anybody's interested, if you just want to send Mark or myself an email, you don't have to decide today. Think about it. It's a comfort level thing for sure. And if you just are interested, let us know and we'll put you on the list. If you're not, Mark and I will make sure it's covered.
Yeah.
Okay.
Make
Is
sure.
there any other questions for Mark and Laura on this issue?
No,
Okay, hearing none.
from my point of view, if the committee can think of some more questions.
Yes,
that
more
would be very,
questions,
very
guys. Yep,
helpful.
if you can.
Thank you.
Thank you for all the hard work you guys are putting in this. All right, 7.3, the creation of a video, social media, re-accessibility in the town, accomplishments, playgrounds, Moby mats, etc. Update from
Me.
Mrs. Brolin.
All right. So this is just touching on our last meeting. Our communications officer attended, and as you know, we narrowed down the first 6 sets of videos that we're going to do. So what we've established right now is a May 18th and 19th date. I'm not sure if anybody can let us know which one works better. That's a Wednesday and a Thursday. That's when we're able to secure locations to go get the Moby chairs and to also get on one of the town buses to make these videos. So we were hoping to get the dates secured with you guys, and then everybody can sign up for one of the 6 topics. So I don't know if there's preference, if you have a certain one you like, but we're ready to start booking that in, and then we can get those videos out as soon as possible.
Okay. So if everybody wants to check their calendar and get back to the committee.
Yeah, that
on
you can
this
send me an
issue and
email.
what dates better.
Send me if you're available, number 1, and if you have a preference on a video, let me know which topic. Otherwise, just say you're available and you're willing to do, whatever, and we'll make sure we get a part for you guys there. But May 18th or 19th, yeah.
Okay, I don't have your email address, but I can send it to Laura and she can get back to you if you want.
Yes, everybody
That's
should
good.
have mine, but if you need it, let me know and I can send out another email.
All right, Laura,
Okay.
where was the list of the videos again? Is it in the minutes?
It's on the agenda, today's agenda, if you have a chance.
Okay.
I just listed them there
It's-
quickly, and then I can send them out
It's-
again too.
Okay.
All right, here quickly, accessible playgrounds in the town, accessible parking in the town, transit accessibility, the Moby chairs, the 2021 town accessibility accomplishments, and the highlight of the upcoming promo contest.
Mhm.
Those are the topics.
Yeah.
Am I correct on that?
Vic?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, did we decide where we're gonna put the Moby chair for people to borrow?
It's still going to be at the Nancy, at the park on 22nd Street. Yeah, especially with the beach redevelopment and the units and stuff down there, what's available and not, and the fact that they're doing it for us at no charge. They take the credit card and all the information and they store it for us for free. So there's not really a place down there right now that's closer or better accessible.
What about the place that rents different types of boats or what? Not boats, but there's right near Tim Hortons. There's I can't think of the name, or I think it's still there. It's near the end of the strip.
So I think what we talked about last time is the fact that we'd have to pay for storage, a staff member, someone to be trained, take credit cards, take all that information. We'd have to bring on a person.
I think, sorry, Laura, but I think, Vic, we decided a couple of meetings back that we were going to leave the status quo the way it is until the beach is redeveloped, and then we can visit the issue then. But for us to try and move it around now, it would be too complicated.
Technically, the way it worked,
Is that
Fred,
what we did,
was
Laura?
technically the way it worked was that the town paid for these chairs, but the province was organizing and running their storage and distribution. So it's them that are giving them out. We just promote them and we paid for them and donated them for that use. So it's hard to kind of take them back and say now we have to get someone else to store them and rent them out and everything. It's their thing.
Yeah, it's just I still believe that it's not practical for somebody to, at least when it was in Nancy Island, to walk over there. You probably need 2 or 3 people to carry it, and it just, to me, in fact, wasn't somebody supposed to get back to it?
Sorry, they send one to Nancy Island and they keep one at 22nd Street.
Okay, well, all right, but I think we were also going to get it, how many times it was used last year, just to give us an idea.
And so when I told you, remember I did send her an email. She said they don't they don't track that hard, but she estimated it. I have to look at the email, but I forwarded it on to you guys. I can't remember.
Mhm.
I'll look it up. I know I sent one. Yeah.
I think they were pretty well rented out the entire summer, but I think right now, and it's just my personal opinion, I'm only one person on the committee, but I think until this beach is redeveloped, I think for us to try and put it somewhere else, I think right now they're trained, they're doing everything, and I just think it's right now it's the simplest until that beach is finished and we know where we
Yeah.
stand
And like you
and
said,
what we
Vic,
have. That's my personal opinion.
well, yeah, and like you said, when they do come forward with a plan for all that beachfront, like adding maybe that new playground and stuff, this is the stuff where we as a committee will get to step up and say, here's some recommendations and what we'd like to see better for accessible, use purposes, promotion. That's going to be our opportunity. And maybe at that point, we can be like, hey, maybe you guys need to buy some more Moby chairs or your own more Moby mats, and let's get more down there as part of the new developer. But there'll be an opportunity for you guys to get a presentation and your input there.
Okay, well, so Laura, let's just leave this for you to get emails
Yep, perfect.
on what day's better for this shoot. We got nothing else on that. 7.4, Mr. Kinney, you're back up again. Councillor update.
Thank you, Fred. I'll make it quick because I know you don't like to go much over an hour. If you can do it. We're moving ahead with negotiations with the beachfront, trying to get that ironed out. As people can see, the twin pad and the library is moving forward quite nicely, which is very, very good. For those inclined, the casino seems to be putting walls up, so that's always good. And as I said in one of my discussions at council, there does seem, and there has been for the longest time, a lot of nice new development in town as far as businesses go. We heard today from Doug Heron that we'll probably beat last year's building for residential properties and stuff like that. So things are going quite well with the town. Besides that, Fred, I'm just glad to see, although I didn't enjoy the snow when it happened, glad to see it's gone. And I think Vic wants to say something.
Yes, I was going to ask you, Mark, is there there's a lot of pushback about these condos? Is that pretty well done now that they're going to get six condos at 6 stories high right on the beach there on beach
Yeah,
one?
so to answer that, I think there's always going to be a factor within our community that don't like what's happening. We did probably a year or so ago, through the downtown master plan, made it so that from Spruce to 3rd Street, any developer could go up to 6 stories. However, as Doug had mentioned, there's a lot of other things in there like step backs so that you don't feel that they're up to 6 stories. In the master plan, they want to have a lot of free access to the beach itself. And Beach Drive will be elevated so that it's not impacted by the water anymore. And the property line is going to be kicked back 9 meters so that we have that ability to put a proper, not just boardwalk, but a promenade so that it's functional for people to walk, Moby or mobile scooters. We can have later where they can actually bring in show cars up on top. I believe, but don't quote me on this, it's probably going to be 4 to 5 feet elevated from the beach. So there will be areas where people can get down to the beach. We moved it back that far so that the town actually owns 10 meters of beach before you hit the provincial park. So that allows us to do activities down there without having park permission. Not that they're bad people, it's just one extra layer of bureaucracy you don't have to go through. And I know our special events coordinators love that concept. But no, we're in discussion right now with people, and we're waiting to see designs and stuff, but they know what is allowed down there. And it's one of those things where we're looking forward to a buildup that I think the residents will be proud of.
Mark, I got a question I want to ask you.
I ran around, Vic. I hope that answered some of the questions.
But has it been confirmed that they're going to put the condos in? Like, is it
Oh.
already carved in
Oh,
stones? Or are
okay,
they
so
still-
so my understanding, Vic, is yeah, there's going to be condos there, but there's going to be businesses. So what the plan or the downtown
Concept?
master plan is working on is commerce lower to get activity, and then upper you'd have condos, people living. I think they have the ability, because we're going to raise it a bit, that they could do some underground parking, one layer. That's a possibility. But I kind of look at it kind of like what the town of Blue Mountains has, with the commerce in the streets, and then elevated above that, condos, living areas. It could be I don't know, it really depends on what happens. Cost sharing too. We haven't got all the data in, but that's the vision that we're trying to work with down there.
Mark, I got two questions. I know they're having trouble up north with these Airbnbs, renting out cottages and people being really unruly. When these condos go in, do you think the town will pass a bylaw that Airbnbs will not be allowed?
They're
That's hard to say.
It's one of the main issues I can see.
I really think if you look at the beach itself and what development's going in there, I don't think it will be an Airbnb. I think it'll be basically controlled by the developer, as far as if there is any kind of leasing out or renting out of spaces there, kind of like at Blue Mountain. That's what we're looking at.
Okay.
That's number one.
And the second question, Mark, I got to ask you, when you go along 45th Street towards the bypass, there used to be a burger joint there. It's right beside the tax building. What are they building there, Mark?
45th Street.
Not 45th, sorry, Mosley. Take Mosley towards the bypass. And if you're going towards the bypass, it'll be on your left side. And there used to be a burger joint there they tore down. And there was the tax people there. They've got the building up already. I'm just curious what they're putting there.
My understanding.
Is it open? Like,
No.
is it?
No,
Is it
they're still in
open?
the construction, but Michelle and I can't figure out what it is.
My
Al?
understanding, I've been told it's a veterinary clinic.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah, because I
okay.
know one's going in up in there.
Yeah, so it's where the 5060 diner was,
Mhm.
beside the tax place.
No, you're talking about the main end, right?
Oh, the main end?
No, I'm the
Yeah, on the
50/60
west-
diner was at the main end.
No, the west end, Fred.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just curious. Laura, anything else to bring up on behalf of the town?
Nothing from me. Nope. That's, I know Councillor Kinney's provided a good update there for this month, and I think we can jump into individual committee members if they have any updates.
Okay, I will go last. So, John, do you have anything you want to bring up?
No, nothing specific this month, Fred, thanks.
Okay, Vic,
Nothing at this time, Fred.
thank you. Mark,
Fred, with all due respect, I think I talked enough.
Laura?
Nope, nothing
No?
from me.
Okay, is there anybody else I'm missing? John,
Vic, did we do?
Al,
Al.
Oh, Al.
No, I'm fine. Lots of work to do.
okay,
Yes.
and, I'm
Jen?
missing one person, Jan.
I don't know if she'll, I don't,
Yeah, it's okay. Nope, nothing from me.
Thank
Okay,
you.
the last thing I want to bring up, and this is just for me. Are we allowed? I know Mark and I, we've done it a few times. We're quite successful. He almost, I think he had a cruiser sitting on the springs one time. Could we run a food drive like at Walmart on behalf of the committee to kind of help the people out in the town? Because times are really tough right now, and I know that people are really struggling with food shortages
I have
for
seen a
their
bunch of
families.
posts.
And I just, if as a committee we're allowed to do it.
So we, as you know, almost anybody can arrange a food drive or anything like that. It would be more so probably asking permission from a location or doing it during the day at town hall, something where we can set up that opportunity to come and drop it off, and then just noting that things are all proceeds, all donations are going to the food bank or something like that. But Mark, did you want to add on that?
Well, having over 20 years of doing it, I thought I would chirp in. Town hall, yeah, you won't get anything. You want to go to a store
Walmart.
because that's where they come and that's where they get out.
Walmart already
You
has
want to link it up with a visible agency.
Mhm.
So you could reach out to our detachment commander and join one of those. You could go to Mike, our fire chief, do that, or we could talk to Kevin and get some big dump truck or something there. Something big that
Mhm.
people can't walk by, they're gonna see it. But yeah, it's definitely doable, but Laura is correct. As a committee, I always reached out to IGA, phone them up, go visit the manager, assistant manager,
Yep.
make sure that everything's fine for a certain day. I used to provide all the advertisement for it, so they didn't have to worry about it. I found organizations, I never did Walmart, so what I like is organizations that only have one door. Superstore is great, but everybody at least used to go the other way. And if you've got one door, it's kind of hard to walk, the other way without seeing what's there. And generally, agencies, and I don't know if Walmart does it, but I know Food Bank does make up bags. Generally, if they know we're doing a food drive, they'll make up extra bags.
Well, Mark, I was going to Walmart mainly for it's closer to the nicer weather and we get a lot of tourists and they have the one door scenario. But I was wondering, Mark, and I'll bring it up at the next meeting for the committee to think out and vote on. If maybe Mark, you might want to work with me and set something up. I just, I was in Walmart the other day and I see these young families, their shopping carts are virtually empty for kids and they're saying no to kids. And I just feel horrible for the families nowadays. I just thought we could do something that would just be phenomenal for our
I'll
committee.
put it on the agenda.
And I just want the committee to think about it. Yeah, put on the agenda,
Yep.
Committee can think about it.
Items for
And
future
if they
meeting.
go for it, and if they will go for it, then maybe, Mark, you would help me work on it. We could either do the fire department, the OPP, or like you said, the town with a dump truck or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's my thought. That's all I have anyway. So
Sure.
please think about it for the next meeting, guys.
Awesome. So next meeting
Okay,
is
when's the next meeting date?
May 5th. So Thursday, May 5th, if everybody wants to note that one down, and I'll send out a link shortly. And other than that, Fred, that's everything for today.
I can have a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Councillor Kinney wants to speak there.
Yes.
Sorry,
Councillor
guys,
Kinney.
time, 2
Oh,
o'clock.
10 o'clock. Sorry, back to our
Okay.
regular
Sorry,
Thursday.
10 o'clock. I'm sorry.
Yes, sorry.
Anyways, thank you very much, everybody. Please have a very happy Easter. Drive safely.
Happy Easter.
Have a safe time, and please think about the food bank idea. If I feel very, very strong for it. I really want to try and support our younger and our seniors as well that are,
Mhm.
you know, guys, if you just go into a grocery store and follow a couple seniors around, and you'll see they're so sparse with their food they're putting in their carts, and it literally breaks my heart that some of these people living right in the pot, like right on the edge. So anyways, I won't talk about it anymore. It's for the next meeting. Thank you very much.
Yep.
See you May 5th, guys.
Happy Easter,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Thank you.
Be safe.
Bye-bye.